What's going on, everybody? It's DJ Sketch and welcome back to the channel. We actually have a retro review today and we're going to take a look at the NES classic Jackal. Originally released in October of 1986 in arcades, this came to the Nintendo Entertainment System in September of 1988. Published and released by Konami, this is a overhead run and gun style shooter. So let's get into the story of this one real quick. It's actually fairly brief. The Jackal unit is an elite group of 4 soldiers that have undergone a harsh training regimen to survive in any environment. The team is composed of Colonel Decker, Lieutenant Bob, Sergeant Quint, and Corporal Gray. They have been given a mission to drive 2 armed jeeps into hostile territory in order to rescue and extract POWs. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, it starts out easy enough, but once you go through the 6 stages on offer, this one actually ramps up in difficulty relatively quick. Stage 3 is where it really starts to pick up, but we'll do a little quick synopsis as to some of the stuff that you're going to see throughout this game. So as soon as you drop in, you have your Jeep, whether it's single player or 2 player, and your shots, at least your machine guns, will only shoot upward. In the Japanese version and the arcade version, they shot all directions, but your grenades and missiles shoot in 8 directions. So that's more or less what you're going to be using a lot of in this game, so you have to kind of get your double taps down. But with this one, basically what you're going to end up doing, you're just going to plow through any and everything in front of you, and what you want to do is also blow up the prisons and rescue the POWs. There's 2 reasons why you want to do this. The POWs not only give you points, but also the ones that are glowing, they will actually give you missile upgrades. And you have 3 upgrades potentially to get. There's the grenade, which you start out with as the base. You have a missile that has no splash damage. You have a missile that has vertical splash damage. And then you have one that has vertical and horizontal, which is the final and max power. That's the one you want to keep if you can get it, because that will make the game much easier to deal with. But much like a lot of other Konami games, it's one hit and your ass is grass. So if you can keep the main powered up and stay powered up throughout each level, it'll make things a lot easier, trust me. And also there are 3 random power-ups that you'll see throughout each stage. You just have to search for them. There's a green star that will add another Jeep to your stock. There's a red star that will wipe everything off the screen, and there's also a glowing star that will actually max out your missiles, so it'll take you from either grenade to splash or any variable in between. So throughout the 6 stages, they start out pretty simple. Like the first stage, pretty straightforward. Honestly, you don't have to deal with too much that's crazy. The little carrier boat that drives around when you get to the halfway point, that can take you out sometimes if you're not paying attention or just not ready for it. But the boss in that first section, not that bad. You fight 4 tanks, hit them twice with whatever projectile you got, and you're good. Second stage, you're going through some ruins. This stage is actually pretty cool. Actually, I like this stage a lot, the way it's laid out. And you're actually going to fight a set of 4 statues at the end of it. Just a little tip with this one, just keep moving back and forth, because they're going to be shooting missiles at you, which you can actually destroy with your base machine gun. And just try to deal with the statues one at a time. That'll make the little fight a lot easier. Third stage, honestly, I think this is one of the hardest stages in the game. This is a seaport. Pretty much you're going to make your way through. Just watch out for stationary gunners, and submarines are going to pop up and try to give you a hey, how you doing, with a missile in your face. So just be prepared for that. Keep your eye on the bridges, because things will spawn in rather quickly on the stage, and also everything is one hit. So the third stage I'd say is the toughest, but the boss at the end, as long as you just watch out for the little 2 little pop-up gunners that will pop up before reaching the big battleship thing. You just want to take out those guns and you're good to go. Stage 4 is not quite as bad as Stage 3, but even still, Stage 4 and 5 are pretty tough. And once you get through this section, you get to the end, the train section, watch out for falling boulders, and there will be a train that's going to come up behind you, so just jut off to the side and watch out for landmines, and just take out that first car. It'll take out the rest with it. And you're going to fight a helicopter at the end of this stage. This actually is a pretty cool boss fight, so it'll drop the soldiers off at you, but you can either shoot them or run them over. Take your pick. Also, you can dispose those or dispatch them pretty quick. But the helicopter does have a little fire pattern that, if you're not in the right place, you might get hit by it, so just be careful. And Stage 5, this one's actually a pretty tough stage too. 5 and 6 are pretty much alongside Stage 3 are probably the hardest parts of the game, but they're not impossible. So with Stage 5, it's almost like a gauntlet of sorts. You're going to go through a base, and then you're leading up to the base at this point, excuse me. And what you're going to do at the end, you're going to have pretty much the front stockade of the base. You have to just, when the shutters open, you just got to take out the little fuses inside, the side guns, and then blow up the gate. You're good to go. Stage 6, though, this is where pretty much everything is getting thrown at you. You're going to have helicopters dropping grenades at you. You're going to have assault planes dropping grenades at you. There are going to be tanks. There's going to be other jeeps that can go as fast, if not sometimes faster than you. And you're going to have a lot of, I guess, stationary guns everywhere. So basically the game is pulling out all the stops at this point. But even still, it's not impossible. You just also, if you feel like you're getting overwhelmed at any point, this is kind of the beauty of this game. You can just back up, just clear out everything around you. But you can back up and despawn enemies, at least until you can at least despawn enemy bullets, rather. And you can go back up, good to go. Just take it slow. Especially on the part with the treadmill, because like those parts, if you try to barge through it, chances are you're going to get shot down. And the last boss with this, first you have to destroy the building itself. It's going to be 2 stationary guns, and then it's going to turn into a giant tank. So this used to get me a lot when I first played this game, but actually in doing this run that you're seeing now, found a little bit of a trick to it. Instead of going back and forth, because the more you're moving is the more that giant laser can fry you, basically. But if you either hang out on the far right side, not all the way up in the corner, but right where the side of the building is, that laser is going to stop about 2 jeep lengths apart from where it can hit you. And also where the cannon is, it can't go that far over the screen, which I never noticed until this run. So if you just want to hang out there for a little bit, don't move around too much, but also there will be also like other fire coming at you, so you have to get out of the way of that. But just keep your grenades going and just keep firing until it starts blinking red really fast, and bam, you are done. And some cool little tidbits about this game. Also, this one's a classic, and this is a game I've always really enjoyed playing. It's a really fun one. And also with the arcade version, it was originally designed to be played with rotary sticks, as seen with Ikari Warriors and Time Soldiers, things of that sort. But instead, they just didn't do that. Also, the 2 jeeps were actually colored differently, at least in the NES version, due to graphical limitations. I mean, it's the NES after all. But the Player 1 Jeep maintains the standard green color that's present from the arcade, while Player 2 is brown. And also, Player has much more space to actually maneuver around due to change from the vertical orientation of the screen to horizontal. So initially this was a screen up kind of game, but now the NES version actually turned that sideways to make it a little bit easier. Yeah, I know for a retro review, kind of went all over the place with this one, but if I had to give this one a number, Jackal is a certified classic. This is one, especially if you like Nintendo games in general, this is one, honestly, that you definitely should play because it's a lot of fun. Especially for fans of really any Konami games, like this is, at least in my opinion, this is one of the best Konami games there is. And it's still relatively cheap. I mean, you can find this for like, at most, like $15, usually a lot less depending on where you're at. So for this one, Jackal gets a 9 out of 10. This game is just about perfect, and also if you want to keep playing it, like once you finish stage 6 and get through that, it's one of those looping NES games, even though it has an end sequence and an end cutscene. But if you want to keep playing it, it'll keep going until you want to either quit or just get bodied by it, because it will get a lot more difficult with each consecutive run after. And thank you again so much. If you found this a resource, that's awesome. I'm glad this is helpful for you. And yeah, if you haven't already, check out Jackal. This game's a lot of fun. And if you have a friend to play it with, it's that much better, because honestly, it's pretty fun. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks again. Take it easy.